All right, guys, welcome back to the ALGS channel. Hope you guys are all doing well and having a great day so far. Plenty to dive into, plenty to discuss, maybe a little bit shorter of a video, just kind of depends on how the day goes. But regardless, we have plenty to discuss regarding TSM's brand new roster and a little bit of a rule that they may have broken and how they may be looking to get around that rule. I thought this one was pretty interesting. An obvious cheater situation going on in the ranked lobbies right now that I think needs to be discussed. And we've got plenty of news regarding some roster changes, roster buyouts. You guys know some rosters qualified for the Landover in London, but now we've seen the graphic come out and it's a little bit different than what we were expecting. Some teams that didn't qualify all of a sudden now showing up on the graphic, teams that did qualify not showing up. So plenty to discuss. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and jump right into this one. First thing I wanted to mention here, this was coming from Ryzen. I'm pretty sure this guy is like who they consider to be the Tom Holland of Apex. If you guys have not heard this guy's voice, yeah, right here, Tom Holland of Apex. If you guys have not heard his voice before, it's unbelievable. He sounds really similar to Tom Holland. And I think ASUS has even made videos in the past basically saying I've played Apex right here with Tom Holland or Spider-Man or something along that lines. He got a ton of views. And so that's what most people know him for. He actually made this tweet saying now that the North American boys have played in the EU ranked lobbies, they've already traveled over to London and they're currently playing over in the EU scene so that they can get prepared, I guess, get rid of all the jet lag and everything for this LAN event that's coming up. And they said, can we now agree that EU needs to be saved because it is unplayable due to the cheater situation? Even one of the responses here saying crazy thing is EU would be even worse if the NA guys were not even there because they have a ban hammer that's following them around, basically saying that North America gets a little bit of favoritism in that aspect, I guess, because the content creators are a little bit bigger, a lot more of a household name. So they got, you know, they don't want to be put on blast in front of 30,000 people on Imperial House stream. So therefore you're going to have hideouts. You're going to have some other banhammer guys ready to assist them at their needs, at their beckoning call. So I guess it kind of makes sense. I guess I do understand. Now, I do want to talk about this new TSM roster. Yesterday, we discussed about how we had this roster change and update coming from the TSM side. They actually signed an all-female roster with Sabs, Ava, and Girl, and the Janie as well. So we had 4 people. Now, it was kind of complicated because I was like, is this team going to be playing together? Who's the sub? Who's the coach? Who's doing what? I was kind of confused as to how all of this stuff was going to be going down. Well, we actually saw, I think this was like from a Discord message that I had. It got deleted though. It was a tweet, and you guys can now see that it just says that it does not exist. I think it's because we found the answer to it. But basically in the rules here on TSM, I can't really read like from this Discord message, but it's like an embed from a tweet here that it basically says multiple teams may not represent the same organization. And then it goes on to say some other things as well. People were calling TSM out for this, basically saying like, what are you going to do? Because how is this going to work? You're not allowed to have more than one organization or more than one team per organization in the ALGS. So we did get a response from all of this. This was coming from Cutnoy, TSM's vice president of esports, talks about the org's recent signings. And this is what he had to say. For clarity, Mondi or Mandy, however you guys like to pronounce it, Janie, Sabs, Ava, Girl have a lot of flexibility. So I don't want people trying to pin them in a corner for Celestial Cups. Here we go. Janie, Sabs, and Ava will likely be playing together as a team. So I'd imagine that's going to be, you know, all things like your oversight tournaments and maybe even some realm tournaments or something like that. Obviously, you'll probably have that roster playing together. So that means that you're not going to have Girl playing on that roster. However, for ALGS qualifiers, it will likely be Sabs with her EU squad. And if you're wondering what exactly does this mean, basically she's going to be signed over there as a pro player, but not as a pro team pro player, as a pro player individual who's kind of allowed to go do some other things. I think like even Albert Lely right now, you guys know, even in his bio, it says that he's a content creator or a signed, you know, professional, whatever, to TSM. However, he's played under Cloud9. He's played under FaZe. He's playing under CLG. I think even he tried out with some Luminosity stuff at one point. So it's like, how can he do all of this stuff? Well, he's a signed individual who's allowed to basically go explore his options and do other things. I'm not sure if he's getting 2 checks at once. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but you guys can see right here, basically Sabs will be playing EU on their squad, which will not be saying, it won't be called TSM. It'll be called something else, but she's an individual who's signed to the TSM roster. Ava and Girl might look to find other NA based groups. Then everyone else will play in creator events, TwitchCon events, and stream, similar to how Nick Mercs is signed to FaZe, but plays with the tripods in ALGS. Lots of flexibility here, highlighting each individual path. So basically that's how it's going to work. I was kind of confused as to how it was going to work all the end, but I guess it does make sense now. I also wanted to make mention of this because there was this actual picture right here that was going around and everyone was kind of picking up on some things about this. And apparently it was tweeted out by Official Hodge. Now, I don't know what's going on with Twitter. This guy's entire account apparently got deleted and it's nowhere to be found. I mean, this guy has tagged me in countless things. I know who this guy is. And all of a sudden, when you click on his account, it just completely says his account does not exist. I'm not sure if he got banned. I don't know if he deactivated it or what exactly was going on. So ALGS Intel made this tweet showing this graphic here that was made by Hodge, and like I said, I don't know what happened to his account, but it said 40 teams here. You guys could see all the logos, and there were a couple of logos that did not qualify, but they're showing up. A couple logos that did qualify, and they're not showing up. So what exactly has happened? Well, you now can see that it is confirmed. The Sentinels replaced the SSG rumor, in which they have confirmed via ALGS's own Twitter official trailer that Sentinels is in and SSG is out. Obviously, credit Hodge for this, and thanks again. But you guys can see right here in this graph, there is no SSG logo anywhere. They're not on here, even though they did qualify. Same thing goes for Sentinels. They did not qualify, but yet you see their logo here. So obviously this change is going to happen pre-LAN and not after the LAN, because I saw a lot of people commenting basically saying, look, they're not going to be allowed to do this. You have to stay with the same team that you qualified with. And to my understanding, the only truth behind that is that you have to stay with the same roster. You can't leave a different roster or pick up a new guy unless obviously it's already assigned sub, from what I'm understanding. But you can, on the other hand, still switch organizations, still switch the team name, because we've already seen people do that anyways. Teams that were not signed, teams that were free agent rosters that did qualify over in the APAC South and APAC North, we had a ton of teams that were doing that. I think even Team Chicken Sandwich or something, Boogie Borders, a lot of those guys got signed even though they signed up as a different team. So yes, it is possible. However, there are some limitations to what you can do, especially with the roster changes here. But a couple things to notice: yes, Sentinels is in, SSG is out, even though they did qualify. SSG apparently is not set to join back to the ALGS scene at all, which is kind of unfortunate. Obviously, you want these big organizations to stay around. SSG has been a household name in the Apex scene for quite some time. Even though they qualified for LAN, you would think they'd be all happy with it, but no, unfortunately, they're selling their roster. They're moving out. Sentinels has bought them out, and I don't think SSG is coming back. And that's kind of a little bit of a show as to how EA has handled all of this scene. Obviously, it's a little bit of a controversy whether or not they're doing the best job possible. However, there was another response here coming from Competitive Apex saying another leaked org signing, but nobody is noticing. And we saw the answer down here. VZN is now Jay Lings. I'm not exactly sure how this is pronounced or who this roster even is, but you guys can see this logo right here apparently was not here, and apparently they also did not qualify. So it was another one of those situations like Sentinels and SSG where maybe there was a buyout, maybe there was a change of an organization or something, and that's how all of this stuff went down. It is interesting to see, because despite the Sentinels not performing well enough to make it to the LAN, they still found a way to show up to the LAN, which I think is pretty cool. At the end of the day, if you got the funding, obviously, I guess if you want to make that buy, if you want to spin that buyout, sure, go for it. Now, this was also another tweet right here coming from the entire Competitive Apex scene. These guys are ALGS Intel and Competitive Apex doing an amazing job at keeping up with some of this. They were kind of going in depth on this stuff, saying this definitely confirms the rumors. There's also only 39 teams in the photo and 2 logos that I have not seen before. They're not on Liquipedia either. What exactly is going on? I'm kind of confused. They said there's a logo of a black square next to TSM. 2 APAC North teams are missing, but only one of them was a free agent. So it's kind of confusing as to what the full truth is behind all of this, but I'm interested to see what you guys have to say down in the comment section below. Make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new as always and want to stay up to date all things ALGS related. We're going to have a lot to dive into, a lot to uncover when this LAN event happens. It's starting in literally a couple of days. Let me know who you guys think is going to take it all, who you guys think is going to win. Honestly, NRG has been looking so hot lately. I can't say, or I can't root against them considering all the momentum that they have. I kind of want an APAC team to win though, just because I think North America really thinks they got this thing in the bag. We saw Snipebound the other day saying that there's no way like a North American team is not going to win. He said he's going to be surprised if anybody else wins other than North America. So I would like to see an underdog win, honestly. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, I'll see you later, Gators.